Destination Africa, brought to you by Standard Bank.
The great news is that the ICT infrastructures are getting a lot better. And you've got things like mobile penetration, which is going very fast. In some countries, it's well over 100%. But you're coming from quite a low base. And also, if you look at some of the broader realities, you've got internet penetration, which is still very, very low. And a lot needs to happen for that to grow. So it's improving, but from a low base, and there's still plenty of progress to be made. But that also means a lot of potential still to be reached. One of the things which we see happening over the future, and it's the next 10 years, next 20 years, is a steady growth in the number of computers owned per person. And when you think back over the last 6 decades, since the first computers emerged, the growth has really been very, very strong, particularly over the last couple of decades. So 6 decades ago, so in the early 50s, there were just 5 computers. And it wasn't until you got to the 80s where you started getting a semblance of home computing. And we see that trend just growing and growing and growing over time as the cost of computers falls. And when I look at Africa, one of the big impediments to the adoption of technology is the cost of technology. And when you've got a computer costing the equivalent of over $1,000 for a basic computer, that's going to really restrict the market. As you get more competition coming in, as more supplies come into the market, as price falls, and you can probably get price to about, say, $200 or $300, then the adoption of technology will really take off, and that will also drive the adoption of the internet and also drive e-commerce. So it'll be a virtuous circle building up that ecosystem. So by, say, 10 years' time, then in the sort of wealthier households, you might see 20 or 30 computers within those homes. And what you probably see as a result of that is very fast, what we consider very fast connections going to those homes. But at that time, it will just be equivalent to having electricity, whereby you've got one big electricity source, but many sockets and many devices which are being attached to them. So it's a steady proliferation of technology, steady growth in the amount of connectivity required, and probably several different layers of networks. So you'll have fast networks between devices, you'll have relatively fast networks within homes and offices, and then also you'll have the cellular network, which will be ubiquitous, but slower in speeds.